Hi, my name is Varun. I am one of the founders and CEO of Headout. Headout is an online marketplace for travel experiences, from attractions in big cities to incredible museums in historic town centers to adventure activities in remote destinations of the world. Anything and everything that's fun and exciting that somebody would love to do when they're traveling is something that you would find on Headout. When you look at travel, oftentimes it's equated with hotels and flights. But fundamentally, the reason why people travel is to be able to experience what the place has to offer. And the actual experiences in those places are often looked at as an afterthought. What we realized almost a decade ago is that there's a really big space for helping people get exposure to what these experiences are, help them understand what they are, and help them book all of these experiences online on their mobile devices and have a great time while doing so. And so that's exactly what we did. We have built a global ecosystem of experiences in close to 100 cities around the world. These experiences are of varied nature. We sell everything from tickets to museums to hiring local guides to adventure activities to theaters and everything in between that. And all of this is very seamlessly available conveniently on your mobile device with just few taps and you're on your way. We do this in all centers around the world. We are a unique platform in the sense that we're one of the few built from India for the world stories. On Headout, we are not just serving Indian customers traveling in India or outside India, but we are serving the whole globe. And we genuinely believe passionately that India has got the talent and the ability to be able to build global consumer internet brands sitting right here and serving the entire world. And we hope to be a beacon that is able to sort of pave the path for what that looks like going forward. India as a destination is an evolving story. It's clear that we have got all the ingredients that you would want to be able to have an incredible story as to why people should come to India and experience the amazing culture and the amazing diversity and the amazing rich experiences that we have to offer. But at the same time, given that we are a developing nation with our own evolving journey, it is critical for all of us to understand that when it comes to tourism, the infrastructure that's underlying and underpinning all of these tourism assets are of key critical importance. And it's of great relevance and importance that in the last decade or so, the government centrally and at the state levels have taken this a lot more seriously. We've got the Swadesh Darshan program, we've got increasing investments in the infrastructure development assistance program and a bunch of other such investments. But all of these are still scratching the surface. I think if you look at sort of just globally, the share of total tourism divided by sort of India's potential, you could sort of statistically argue that we are not playing up to our potential. And the only thing that needs to change between now and sort of what the future is, where we are playing to our potential, is we need to truly make a dent in the investments that we are making in the underlying sort of infra that's allowing all of these experiences to exist, and equally then invest in making sure that we are marketing and promoting this investments in these infra pieces sort of globally under sort of a true India bracket. We have got an incredible India campaign that's been globally very, very successful. But I think there's still a lot more to be done where all the different state governments have got their own specific sort of ideologies need to be brought together under one umbrella brand. And we then do something with a lot more impetus and a lot more investment sort of globally to position incredible India in a manner that's befitting to the kind of potential that the country has to offer. What's not changed in travel is that the fundamental reason why people travel is because they want to see something exceptional. They want to have a great time. They want ease and convenience, and they want the ability to be able to just relax and have a great time overall, right? So that's always been fundamentally true. And they want all of these things with a certain destination where they get value for money, right? So these are fundamental ingredients that never change. But when you look at what's changed, right? There are both good and bad developments sort of worldwide. If you sort of look at the good developments, and if you look at this from an India context, right? You are seeing an increasing trend of Indians having the disposable income to be able to travel more frequently, both domestically and internationally, right? And so you are seeing Indians start to spend more money on travel, right? And that's a great development. That's a good development. In addition to this, as I said earlier, you've got the central and the state governments investing more money into infra for tourism and taking it more seriously, trying to create as many employment opportunities, trying to create as many tourism assets, trying to revitalize existing assets that have been left by the wayside, right? So all of these are steps in the right direction. But when you look at sort of what's not working as well as we would like it to, I think there's a list of things that we need to improve on pretty quickly. Number one, India is a country with a limited taxation base, which means that the income groups that do earn pay a disproportionate share of the total income that they earn as tax. This plays out very sort of notoriously in tourism, right? We look at tourism as an indulgence, and so we tax tourism as an indulgence. And as a result of this heavy taxation structure that we have got in place today, it's not lost onto people that traveling domestically in India oftentimes is actually getting more expensive than traveling to some of the nearby destinations that we have from our country. And this is fundamentally not a good thing, both for domestic tourism, but also for sort of international tourism that's coming into India. Because at the end of the day, people around the world have got all options in front of them, and we need to do a really good job of making our option as enticing as we possibly can. So it's equal parts investing in tourism assets, but it's also about sort of simplifying our tax structure in a way that doesn't penalize people for wanting to have a good time. In tourism, it's one of the most evolving and dynamic industries that there is, both in India and outside. And so what's changing essentially effectively is that people are increasingly being exposed to the wondrous things that exist on this planet. Social media has made it ridiculously simple for me to have a sense of what the world has to offer. And that sense has made it extremely desirable for me to be able to want to go out into that world and experience it for myself. And so you're constantly seeing that consumers are looking to spend more time and more money on travel, including on experiences during that travel that makes the whole actual travel a lot more enriching and a lot more immersive. So I think this has been a really great development, but like with any good development, you've got sort of a con to it. In this context, social media has also been an amplifier of both the good and the bad. So in the case of India as an example, we have a bit of a perception and a marketing problem statement. India is often viewed as a country that's not as clean as we would like it to be and not as safe as we would like it to be. And so social media sometimes has also amplified that side of our nation. And that's something that we need to change quite rapidly. The Prime Minister started Swachh Bharat, which was a welcome campaign. But we do believe, from what we have seen and from our own surveys of customers of Headout who have come into India, that we need to do a lot more of investments to be able to improve the situation of cleanliness in tourism hotspots in multiple places around the city or around the country. In addition to this, we also think that there's one thing that's changing, is that people are sort of wanting even more authentic and even more real experiences, right? Nobody wants a stage experience. Nobody wants to just see the highlights of the top things in a city, just go to Taj Mahal, just go to Red Fort and sort of be done with it. People want to interact with what's real on the ground and what's interesting on the ground. And so to be able to ensure that you're offering the full spread of the immersive sort of authentic experiences in a city or in a country, we need to be able to do more to ensure that all of these things are very easily identifiable, they are discoverable, and they are bookable. And to be able to do this, you've got work to be done, where I think more of our cities need to come together with the center and the state and the local sort of machinery, along with some sort of a private partnership attached, where in each and every large tourism hotspot in the country, we need to find 3 to 4 what I would call tourism zones, which are sort of 3 to 5 square kilometer areas where you've got a good density of some important landmarks, a few cool neighborhoods, and some tourism assets in the form of hotels and restaurants and whatnot, and come together at the center, at the state, and with local private partnership and deploy capital to be able to revitalize an entire 4 to 5 square kilometer of that area into a true tourism zone, right? And have 3 to 4 such tourism zones in every relevant tourism market in the country. I think the ability to be able to do this at a holistic level, where you're looking at a whole zone and not just a specific point in time attraction, is of critical importance, because at the end of the day, for a tourist who is in that city, whether it's a domestic tourist or an international tourist, they would want the ability to be able to have a great time by looking at an attraction, walking around, going and having a great meal, being able to stay in a really good location, feeling safe, and having good transportation available, and having good sort of just road infra and transportation infra available. And so all of these things are all equally and critically important. And so I think every city needs to sort of have these 3 to 4 tourism zones of 5 square kilometers each. And for all of this to happen, I think the total quantum of investment that's being deployed needs to go up by an order of magnitude. And it's not just to go up because it will help tourism. Tourism, in effect, is one of the largest single employers in the country. Today, directly or indirectly, almost 9% of India's employment is taken care of by tourism. And this can be significantly higher with the right kind of investment. With the kind of demographic dividend that we have playing for us, it's of critical importance that India invests in assets that is able to generate employment. And tourism has got one of the highest sort of revenue or capex to employment ratios as an industry worldwide, including in India. And so I think given all of these tailwinds that we have got in place, we need to make sure that the investments happen today and they happen at a ferocious breakneck speed, because this is the only real way in which we can ensure that both the tourism potential of the country and the demographic dividend of the country are not left to just potential. They're actually sort of realized into real benefits and real impact for the society at large. You know, the thing with India is that every time we try to box India with a sort of a question saying, what does India do? India will show you that they've got multiple Indias under this one umbrella brand, right? And so the way that an urban resident of India who has traveled to a few countries behaves is very different than a resident of India who comes from a tier 3 town who's going and seeing a new place for the very first time, and that behaves very differently than somebody who's an elder residing in one of our cities and who's traveling for religious reasons or traveling to visit relatives. So I think there are different pockets of India traveling in very different ways. And that's kind of the beauty of the country that we have. We've just got such a large body of people that they can express themselves in so many different ways. From what we have seen from our vantage point, which is very focused on taking, sort of building a product that's about taking people to experiences globally, we've seen that Indians tend to want to spend their time and their money on experiences which are truly increasingly more authentic. So Indians, when they're traveling to whichever destination it might be, are more in tune with wanting to see the actual fabric of that destination. They are wanting to go behind the veneer and wanting to see what's real, and they are willing to be uncomfortable to be able to discover what the place has to offer. A lot of times when we travel to a new place, we want to be cocooned, we want to feel comfortable, right? But Indians, we have often seen, are willing to sort of take the hard yards, they're willing to do the hard work that's needed to be able to sort of truly uncover a destination for what it has to offer. And that's one of the reasons why Indian tourists are increasingly desired tourists, both in India and outside, because we have got the incomes to be able to spend, we have got the desire to be able to go deep into an ecosystem and spend more democratically, not just on the surface. And overall, the increasing sort of global perception of India, which is increasingly becoming positive, is also aiding this general warmth that we receive as a traveling population, no matter where we are in the world. I think the brand that we created many years ago called Incredible India is inextricably linked with brand Bharat. I think the two go hand in hand in more ways than one. And I think for brand Bharat to succeed and for us to be able to develop the soft power that we deserve as a nation, I think Incredible India needs to succeed equally importantly. And so I can't stress enough, not just because I'm a participant in this ecosystem, but just as a proud resident of this beautiful country, as to how important it is for us to at this very moment, ensure that we invest all the love, all the attention, all the care, and all the money that's needed to be able to grow this specific brand that we created, this Incredible India brand. We've got all the ingredients. The only thing that needs to happen for it to be sort of put together is there needs to be this coming together of minds. There has to be a true partnership at the center, state, city, and private player level. All four of these constituents have to come together to be able to put the money where the sort of the mouth is, and make sure that we build what we know the country can offer in a way that can really sort of elevate this Incredible India. And if Incredible India elevates itself, then brand Bharat will automatically sort of benefit in a very tangential, correlational way. Tourism in India today is one of the most important and one of the most evolving industries that there is. Almost 9 out of 10 Indians currently are employed in tourism. The market is growing very rapidly. it's growing at almost 14-15% CAGR. There are different forms of tourism that are coming to the fore. You've got religious tourism, you've got tourism into multiple metros that we have built who are increasingly becoming more relevant as destinations. We've got heritage tourism, we've got medical tourism, and there is just so many more flavors that are constantly being added every single year. So the story of increasing tourism in India is a consistent story. It's a story that's going to play out for decades and decades to come. This story can and will be accelerated as a function of just the amazing body of incredible assets that we have to share with both our own citizens and with citizens outside. And so if I were a betting man, I would bet heavily on tourism sort of fully realizing its potential and increasing by leaps and bounds in India for the years to come. All the ingredients are right there for us to make it happen. The only job that's left in front of us is to execute, and that's always the hardest part.